something unexpected has shaken Joyce Meyer Ministries, leaving longtime viewers stunned and searching for answers. After nearly 20 years of appearing daily on Daystar TV, Joyce Meyer suddenly disappeared from the network in early 2025. The official explanation was brief and vague, but leaked internal files painted a very different picture, one involving serious concerns that went far beyond financial questions. According to insiders, the fallout has caused a major drop in viewership and forced her team to rush toward new platforms just to hold on to their audience. Some within the ministry quietly fear this moment could mark the beginning of a long decline for the woman who built one of the largest Christian ministries in America. To understand why this crisis hit so deeply, it helps to look back at the life that shaped her. Born on June 4, 1943, in South St. Louis, Joyce entered the world as Pauline Joyce Hutchison, right in the middle of World War II. Her father was drafted the day she was born, and when he finally returned 3 years later, he brought home emotional wounds that turned into anger, drinking, and an atmosphere of fear. By age 5, Joyce was living inside a nightmare no child should face. The sexual abuse began, and it continued week after week until she turned 18. Her mother, overwhelmed and terrified herself, stayed silent, leaving Joyce to carry the pain alone. That childhood, filled with shame, confusion, and loneliness, left marks she would not understand fully for decades. The only place she found any comfort was in Scripture, which she first opened at 9 years old. Despite her faith, the abuse continued, and the contradiction left her feeling lost and deeply unprotected. When she finally escaped home at 18, she entered a series of difficult years that included a troubled first marriage, financial struggles, and raising a child while trying to hold herself together emotionally. Still, she kept seeking hope. And at age 33, she experienced what she later described as a life-changing spiritual moment while driving to work. That encounter with God pushed her into ministry. She started with tiny Bible studies at work, then a women's group, and eventually a radio program that grew faster than anyone expected. By the mid-1980s, she had hundreds of listeners writing to her daily. Her honesty about pain, fear, and trauma was different from the polished messages many people heard in church. As the ministry expanded, so did controversy. Reports surfaced about prosperity teachings, large donations, and expensive ministry assets, eventually drawing the attention of the U.S. Senate. Joyce cooperated fully, made major changes inside the ministry, and continued building her platform. By the mid-1990s, her TV program Enjoying Everyday Life reached millions, and her books became global bestsellers. But everything changed again in 2024 when Daystar became embroiled in disturbing allegations involving the network's leadership. Because of her own history with abuse, Joyce cut ties immediately, pulling her program off Daystar in 2025. The move caused a dip in her overall audience, but she quickly shifted to TBN, Lifetime, and digital platforms where she still reaches hundreds of thousands daily. Now, as her ministry works to stabilize after the Daystar fallout, Joyce faces one of the most challenging chapters of her career, one that tests not only her leadership, but the very story of resilience she has spent decades telling the world.